Henry, Jan, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I
What's
can hear you.
up? Nice. I'm
I'm
trying to.
very good. How are you?
I'm good. Things are good.
Yeah, we're
I
good.
am trying
Practicing today.
to. You have been?
Yeah, we have been practicing the whole week.
Cool.
It
I was
feels
gonna
good.
open those
Good.
videos you guys sent me today and review them and look at things real time. I haven't looked at. I've glanced at both what Gabby, Henry, and both what y'all have sent and Jan. And I thought, shoot, I'm just gonna review this real time with y'all today when I screen share. I'm trying to cast to this television again, but I'm having trouble. Should work. Atrium conference card 4297. Great. Cool. I got my screen. Got my space. Week 2, week 1. What was harder out of those two flows? Oh, you guys copy? Can you hear?
I can hear.
Henry, out of week 1 and week 2, what was the tougher flow in your opinion?
Not because of the exercise, because of my condition. The ones that we have to be kneeling because of my knees. So be free
Okay.
for me. Being free of free pain, being kneeling is one of my challenges. So all the exercises of the rockers, especially the rockers, my knees always get a little bit like a little pain. But I'm trying to do the things that you told me that don't put my weight into the knee, but press with my I don't know how to say this in English. The tibia, the part of the front of the leg,
Yep.
the ones that comes after the ones that comes after the knee, in the bottom. I support that part of my body into to the floor, and I lift my weight up and don't leave my whole weight to the knees. So I'm doing it that way, and I'm feeling really good because of my tibia is getting a little bit stronger, maybe.
When you're saying the knee, are you talking about the?
Like,
Did
do
I
the
understand
rockers
you right? You're doing the knee lift work.
something like that. Like, yeah, I'm pressing with my toes. No lifting my knees, but not letting my whole weight go down to my knees, and pressing the floor with my feet and my tibia. I'm gonna find the word tibia for you.
No, tibia is the shin bone.
Yeah, the shin.
Yeah.
I'm supporting my shin
Cool.
harder.
So jumping ahead a little bit, and that's okay because it's incredibly hard to break the body down into pieces. I know I do shoulder series, right, for the first 3 weeks. The next 3 weeks is spine. The next 3 weeks is hips and pelvis because those two pieces are really one and the same. A lot of people get hung up just with the hip socket. When it comes to the knee, everything above that point, if it's under control, is going to protect where that tibia attaches into that knee joint, right? So that tibia is part of what connects to the bigger bone, big one bone, two bones, and it creates the knee joint. That knee joint has a little bit of a tilt to it, right? It can rotate a little bit, but it's mainly just a hinge joint. When I have somebody with pain in the knee, what that tells me is there's compression. My body is hammering down from above on that knee. Now, it also may be a situation where that foot is misplaced or just not strong enough to hold the pressure. And then if you're adding weight, of course, more pressure, and it's all going to land in this knee joint for stability if the foot and the ankle and the hip aren't synchronized. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
For you, what I might do this week is drop in a little knee flow, and it's on the ground. What side is your affected side? Your left side?
No, right side. My right side had the surgery.
So your
Yes.
right side had a surgery. The surgery is tibial plateau.
LCA, and meniscus, lateral meniscus.
So that
I don't
lateral
know.
meaning the outside.
No.
So you definitely had a
Yes.
situation where this took a beating from this shape. So the fix for you is to get this, kind of see how I'm stacked in this half kneeling position. So I went from a rocker to a foot through the column, rocker, foot through the column, side view, rocker, foot through the column. Now, if I'm right here, you see how this is a 90-degree angle?
Yes.
Boom. I want to pull the hip back, and that's going to, see how it widens that angle? Even wider. If I take the foot forward, I'll get it even bigger. If I'm in those positions, and I'm half kneeling, so I've got pressure on my backside, my foot's on the ground, and I'm going to turn my pelvis and take it straight back. And that is going to decompress by elongating that joint. You see that, Henry?
Yes. Yes.
So this shoulder work, instead of doing it in kneeling, for you, I'm going to put you in this position, and then I want to challenge you in that position with these routines. That makes sense?
Yeah,
So
it makes a lot of sense.
Simple adaptation for someone, this is any knee injury for everybody. You want to put them in a position that that thing is decompressed and safe. If I'm fresh out of surgery, I'm not even allowed to put all my weight in that knee because they want to protect that joint. But if I've got pressure in my back knee and my back hip, and this foot can come up off the ground, then I can minimize the amount of pressure and force that goes into this side. But what I want to do is retrain the body to accept that pressure and that force. So it's over here, and then decompress that knee. You can mix in, this is where we'll get into these, but calf raises, different little motor skills that are really primarily based on the hip and the pelvis, but have to have spine and shoulder in sync, which is why I'm working down to that joint versus I used to teach up, foot and up. But even teaching the foot, even teaching the hip, if you don't have a good awareness of the chest, it can become problematic from above for that knee joint. And that's where we've got to find out with you, Henry, where is the biggest change we can make to reduce the amount of torque and pressure that that knee continues to get. It's an old surgery, which means something happened to it prior. And if there's old habits, even old scar tissue in that area, scar tissue takes a lot of work to get it, not only, I shouldn't say stretched out because it doesn't really stretch. Again, it's more like a leather. If you've ever tried to stretch leather versus stretch a rubber band, our connective tissue will stretch like a rubber band, but if there's a little tear in it and it gets stretched, if you've ever had a balloon with a hole in the balloon, you pull it, it'll just rip on that latex. Or the resistance bands, put a little tear and it'll rip right on that point. Similar to connective tissue, if you're going to re-sew that back together, which is a lot of times what happens for the meniscus, I'm not sure about you, but they'll sew it or repair it. And that's going to come with some residual scar tissue that may never go away. It's always going to be there, which makes it ever more important to really coordinate the hip and get the hip to do a lot of the pulling up and away from that knee. So in the standing version, if I'm going to land in the right side, I'm going to turn the pelvis. If I'm going to land in the right side, I'm going to turn the pelvis. I want to pull pressure up and away from that knee, right? And then teach it to load. And if I'm, roll this up, if my heel comes up off the ground and my hip goes back, and then I reach above and shift pressure over into this hip, I should feel the calf and the hip and the foot doing all the work. And the knee should float within that shape, within that structure, so it can move in the design it's supposed to. If there's a little bit of a torque from this behavior, it's gonna, you're doing heavy work. Are you lifting from the ground at all in your training?
And sometimes, but with a little modifications every time. I'm not training to get better. I'm always training for like recovering my knees.
Right, and that's what you're going to have to do. That's why I asked, like, any training from the ground is going to put you in a position where it's very difficult to lift from the ground and stay in a forward behavior without tripping yourself over that bar, right? Like a good deadlift, you should scrape those shins, right? Boom, straight up. So for you, this decompression work here, standing work, that's really next week's work, but it's in there. It's what we're working towards. This and this comes before this and this. So you're preventing that stress in that moment rather than treating it strictly as I got to recover from that. So I want you to be proactive with your decompression work prior to any loading. Jan, that's for you as well as a CrossFit athlete. You're going to go from that lift, the compound lifts that you do in your sport, to a run, right? And in that run is probably when you're going to feel the best. Once you're fatigued, take a break sometimes. I know it's a speed-based sport, but don't be afraid to take a decompression breath. Make sure those feet regain their elasticity. You can scrape the top of the foot on the ground. Both you guys can. Scraping the top of the foot, pushing down just like we do in the rocker. You can do it standing, pull it through all the way up. That's a quick recovery break from any compression that you're loading and when you're training or competing in that world. Is that helpful?
It really is. Yes, and thank you. I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna try that one, the first one that you give me. The ones that take up the pressure of the knees.
The knee lift.
It looks it looks logical.
I will share that this week. Will you take a note for me? Rewrite knee lift rockers. And I'm gonna drop that in the chat this week. I'll introduce it's shin splints. You guys got anybody with shin splints? Is that common occurrence? Yeah. So knee lift rockers. Knee lift rockers. Boom. Shin splints. All right. Same thing. Now, does this look familiar to these that we did? So when that knee floats off the ground, shin, thigh, chest, rotate, shin, thigh, chest. Henry, I would guess that one gives your knee some trouble. In that 3-point, in that crawling, up and back, up and back. Let me find that. Did I lose y'all? You're here, right?
We're here.
Nice. Henry, does that one give you trouble in the kneeling?
The crawling one?
Video. The 3 rep crawl. 1, 2, 3, forward, 1, 2, 3
actually,
back.
that was one of my exercises that I do for the recovery, and it's like lifting the knees and walking like a crawl bear, and that gives me more stability on my knees and like
good,
give more power to my quads. I don't have problem with that.
Good.
I have problem with putting all the weight into the knees. That's my problem. In bending the knee.
So for you don't tolerate that, which means, hey, we're going to avoid that position until you tolerate it more, which means you are going to be doing your shoulder work in standing or that half
Okay.
kneeling that I just showed you. And then that crawling, the fact that it doesn't hurt, that is exciting to me because that's one of the better exercises in there that really does target the knee and the shoulders respectively,
Yes.
even though I introduced it as a shoulder series because that's what's really the landing of that. If I'm just teaching it a hip, you'll see a lot of crooked hands. If you introduce that exercise, people don't get the hands straight. They don't get them under the columns. They're not ready to load in that upper body. So giving them a crawling exercise without the spine and the shoulder decompressed is going to take that knee problem and turn it into a shoulder problem. So that's another good way to put this of why we're training from shoulders down with this series to get that upper body up and that pressure away from that knee joint. I'm digging in our chat for our Google Drive. I'm going to share my screen. I think. iPad screen. All right. Do you see the video? Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, Sting, cool. All right. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to speed this up 2 times. Great shoulder tracers, right? Clean, good foot placement. Boom. That work, Henry, right there, you're doing, that's
Yes.
going to be your recovery work for anything power clean oriented. Because if you look at the shape of the shoulders right there versus the shape of the shoulder when you do a power clean, they're going to be completely opposite. So that's a great little routine for you to do pre-meet. Are you doing CrossFit too or just Jan?
Just Jan. No, I don't do CrossFit. I only lift weights. I used to do jiu-jitsu and martial arts, but before my surgery.
Okay.
I do.
Jan, you're my CrossFitter.
I do too. I
and
love
Gabby.
Yeah, I love Olympic weightlifting actually. And
so this move right here that Henry's doing is one of the best ones for y'all to perfect and offer really as a warm-up prior to class. Because when the hands and the thumbs go out right there, it opens that shoulder up versus when you lift from the ground and clean, you're going to see the backs of people's hands from the front view versus the palms up. So this is going to be one that I challenge all of you to really, really integrate in your preventative work. And then, like I said, Henry, you can approach it as recovery as well. You're putting the body back into the shape after you're done. Good spine work, elbow packs. What's harder, coming together or coming apart?
That's one of the best ones because we feel like decompress after that one. With Janet, we love that one and the one that moving our heads, but I don't feel harder not even putting my shoulders together or opening. It feels good.
I have nothing but good things to say about what I'm seeing. It's a good flow. It's a good pace. Jan, I love that you're using a good IQ to keep the head and the chest tall when you look up. That piece of the puzzle, Henry, I want you to work on that. Your eyes are trending downwards most of the time. If you can watch Jan in the back, she opens all the way up, and then watch yourself. You kind of stay stiff. This week, I want you to work on opening eyes up, chin up, open the front of that shoulder cavity a little more. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Boom. Good work. Good work. And then back. Gabby, these look great. You're gonna want to save these too, because Lacey, you want to come see this? Or did you already? You're in the chat, huh? Do you have any feedback for her in terms of things she can be more mindful of or aware of? Getting a professional's advice on pregnancy. Good shape. She's not stressed out doing it. No strenuous feeling to it.
No.
This Gorilla Reach, I call it. Mm-hmm. Y'all are more than welcome to rename any of this, whatever works for your client to understand it. It's not playing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's not loading or... It's not playing it when I open it. We can see the video though. Good decompression. Gabby, something I'll have you do is be a little more mindful.
Yes.
Tilt back in your
what?
heels.
Okay.
Granted, you have a watermelon that you've swallowed, so you're gonna be a little topsy-turvy.
Okay.
Good columns, good symmetry. Good symmetry, good work, good tracer. That left side's a little sticky, or your right side, excuse me. You feel that in that shoulder at all?
Yeah, I do. I actually have a little pain on my I've always had a little pain on my right shoulder.
Does it ever radiate up into the neck?
No, it's more by my rotating cuff,
Okay.
It never hurts when I'm like push pressing or pressing. It's more when I just have to do like like the spirals, the gyros.
Yeah, the underhand work. You know what I wish I had is the very end of this clip. When you go through that, when your hands go all the way to the sky.
Okay.
Because the reason I want that film, and if you film yourself and look, you will see the asymmetry in those shoulders. So doing that work in front of a mirror for you is going to be big to get that immediate visual feedback of when that right side gets a little squirrely on you, because it'll happen early on as the hands are going up. And then I want you to avoid that area where it breaks down, where it fails, and just stay underneath it and rep it out. And then every so often, go ahead and reach up and all the way up. I will do a flow today, the one that we did this morning, reaching over. That's going to be huge for you. It's not in the pre-film video, but I will take you through it. I'm going to unshare screen.
Cody, Janet
Yes.
is telling me from WhatsApp that she's talking bad. One of us is listening. I don't know if something wrong with her user or something. She's saying that she's talking.
What's happening?
We don't hear nothing about Janet. She's maybe she's mute.
Allowed to speak. She was in timeout. I'm so sorry. Better?
Hoy sí te vas a escuchar si le quitas el mute.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Hoy
yes.
Sí.
Yay! I was talking every time that you referred to me, and I was like, oh yes, I could feel that or something, and I just felt ignored. So I asked Henry, "Are you guys listening to me, or what is happening?" No, it's okay. It's okay.
I thought I fully considered she's busy and she is listening.
No,
and she has madness going on in the background.
No.
Okay.
I was really talking for a long time and nobody was listening, so I was like, what? Uh,
So feedback, CrossFit, right? Like a lot. Did you understand what I was saying with the pull versus that underhand work is going to really be
Perfect.
great because it doesn't happen in the sport as much. So you just
lately, I
Cody,
haven't
there's
been
one thing. There's one thing.
practicing
John Paul
weightlifting.
is new too. John
JP wants to speak.
Maybe
Okay,
it
allow
was
to speak.
the same thing. Well, lately I haven't been weightlifting because of the pain that I've been feeling in my lower back. But
Okay.
today I was talking to Henry while we were practicing, and I told him I really feel much, much better. I think I'm understanding the feelings, so that's why I feel that I'm trying to do better the posture with the C without using my lower back or hyperextending it. So
Yep.
I feel very good about it because I don't feel the load that I was feeling at the beginning. But I think it's like the more you practice, the more that you're like looking forward for the feelings, and then you feel the less pain or you don't feel pain at all. So I'm happy.
Cool. Good.
Same,
when
same
is your
thing
date?
happened to me as Janet. Like I was speaking too. I'm like, then I didn't know how to speak, and everybody was speaking except me, but Janet too. I didn't. That was funny.
we felt ignored.
So at the beginning, I give everybody their speaking privileges. Did you guys leave and come back in by chance? Like rejoin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I rejoined because the energy went off, so the internet went off too, and then I had to join in again.
Well, welcome back. In the future, exactly what you did. Good work in the WhatsApp or in the Telegram chat. You can also, because I've got it open on my end and I'll see it. I'll get a notification that people are saying things. I think, unless you did that, I didn't see that.
No, I didn't want to interrupt. That's why I just
Oh, you're good.
messaged Henry.
It won't interrupt anything on here, anything on the film. So this is the final week of the shoulder. What questions do we have regards to anything shoulder related? Anything
I have a
that
question.
Yes.
Okay. While you were asking Henry and I what was the easiest part or the most difficult part about the tracing when you trace your body with the hands, or if it was like opening or closing the shoulders, that part. Well, it for me was the opening part. Okay, I think I have round, like my posture is round shoulders, so it's difficult for me. The part of opening, that's why I use a lot of like my eyes, my gaze to the ceiling, and I'm trying not to use the mistake that I normally do is that I hyperextend my lower back to try to do the C or to open up my ribs. So sometimes that's why
Flaring
I
it
get
versus when you focus on that exhale, even if you flare the ribs, if you focus on the exhale, you'll feel things pull down and around. And if you can maintain that, then when you do your elbow packs, you're going to feel a big stretch through here versus just an opening and a compression here. I love that y'all talk about it as a C because it's a universal shape. Everybody knows what a C looks like. With that being said, when you get all the way to the top, the oldest back exercise in the book, right? Push your hips forward. Oh, it'll feel better. You're really missing what one piece? You get the hips back, and you're going to be in that same shape. So I want everybody to feel that. Take their hips forward. Gabby, be careful. And then take the butt back and keep that rib cage right where it was. And you will feel that spine from the base. Feel those hips light up. It's like a micro squat. Hands can be right. I've got my thumbs like locked in right on the pelvis, right on the hip bones. Just going back. All right. Find that spot, and we're going to do underhand gyros. You should feel these down the lat, deep into that pocket right there that you're going to feel if you get the butt back. I think about pointing my tailbone up, untucking it, and then wag it, and then wag it while you underhand gyro. So it's like scratch your head, pat your tummy, right? Too many things at once. But if you
No,
get
it's
that
okay.
get those hips back, that's all I want you to feel in the kneeling. That is the purpose of the kneeling. And Henry, if you get better in this zone, you're going to be able to bring pressure up out of those knees and start to tolerate that kneeling work more. Next week, we're doing supine prone decompression, standing decompression, some meat and potato work that's going to give you a better understanding of that spine and how to integrate it in these shoulders. These shoulder routines are simple. I really only picked, 8 total exercises probably and made them into flows. I'm going to guide you through the week 3 and take questions at the end.
Okay. Can I? Oh, at the end, I'll ask a
Yes.
question.
You. What question do you have now?
Mainly, it's we've been focusing more on the shoulder, right? Obviously, but I was wondering, what about the elbow? The elbow.
Ooh, good question.
Like
Great
getting
question. That is what I'm missing.
yeah.
Let's do it.
We're
Elbow, okay?
uh-huh.
Elbow here with the hand here. Elbow here with the hand here. Elbow here with the hand here. Those are your 3 positions, okay? So feel that here, here, here. I want that elbow not to be in a 90, just dropped right below. And I want you to work that forearm, okay? What feels most powerful? This way, this way, this way.
For me, my knuckles facing my face.
Knuckles facing your face.
Yeah.
Yep. How come?
I don't know. I think I can rotate it better, like completely, versus rotating my knuckles.
Mainly bicep, right? Bicep, boom, boom, right here. So my challenge to you is open and rotate and watch those fingers. Can you maintain good shapes in the hand, or will your hand cave when you go to turn?
Yeah, when I turn it forward, like my hand, my palm facing the front. For example, when I rotate it to the front, I can feel my hand not completely rotated like yours.
Yeah, I feel it in that way, where the way you're touching, the part you're touching.
That is the strong side of the hand. Okay, just like what I'll teach about a foot later. But strong side of the hand is the grasp side of the hand.
I was gonna say the stronger one was the one that you put your knuckles, not in the other place. No, the other place. That one.
Right here. That's really the most neutral position.
Yeah, actually, that's the best.
So you think about that right here. Okay. So when it comes that elbow, what that hand is doing, right? So if I wanted to go here, I'm going to get more palms up behind me with the elbow packs. And you're going to get more of this because it's this move. Palms up. Okay. All the way up. Palms up. Palms down. So boom, boom, boom. Something all of you probably has is a foam roller or a towel. Do I have a shirt? I got a sock. I got a vest. Or a towel. Oh, yeah. All right. bath towel, right? Thumbs down or thumbs in, palms down, pull aparts, okay? Now, if I've got my hands more narrow and I do a pull apart, it's gonna be more here. If I can get my hands wider and do a pull apart, it's gonna be more here. So I want wider hands, palms down, thumbs in, pull apart, and go all the way up. Because I'm using the outside of the hand for grip, because I've got the wrist engaged, the hand engaged, and the shoulder engaged, I'm now protecting that elbow. So if you've got somebody with tennis elbow, okay? Tennis elbow, you'll see an exercise where people do tighten on this little rubber band machine. Not even machine. Looks like a small, tiny foam roller, and it's twisty, it's bendy. You really don't need one. You can roll up a towel and do the same work. You're just wringing out the towel down versus up, up, up. So my elbow, watch my elbow. It's out, and now it's coming in. It's out, and now it's coming in. It's out, and now it's coming in. Okay, this work, look familiar? Boom, right? Front squat, traditional front squat. Where's all the pressure end up? Bang, into the elbow. How do I get it out of the elbow? Shoulder back. How do I get pressure out of the knee? Hip back. So shoulder, hip, very similar. Knee, elbow, very similar. Elbow is something I should have introduced this week. I'm very glad that you said that, because I do elbow packs. I just don't explain why. Shoulder, wrist is what protects that elbow. You've got 3 positions. 1, 2, 3. You can do it with a fist. 1, 2, 3. Right? And rotate. Out. Out. Just making a fist is loading that tissue. There's a band attached to the, throw it over the top of the squat rack, grab it, pull it down, elbow into the pocket. Pull it down and elbow in the pocket. Then rotate, palm up, thumb out. Palm up, thumb out. Big cue. Don't forget this one. Palm up, thumb out. And then elbow in the back pocket. And then you can work the wrist and the fingers in this shape, and it's going to decompress the forearm. I do have a video on that, and I will upload it. We'll do that now.
That's awesome.
$10 points for that question. Which makes you the winner with 10 points. It's a shutout. Just kidding. All right. The exercise ball rollouts too that we're doing, big for elbow pain. You're pushing that forearm down into that ball and lengthening it. You're getting the musculature at the back of the hand and the tricep to open that elbow and then pushing that ball. You can also take a foam roller and roll it up the wall with the back of the forearm. That pressure that you're applying to the foam roller when you go up, or you could be holding a towel going up and down the wall, all great elbow decompression. Decompressing the forearm and the wrist. It's an old video. I will definitely refilm with some of these. I'll go back and watch this live stream that we did, and I'll clean up the video where it's smaller pieces so y'all have it in the future. But I just dropped a forearm fatigue. Boom. So that's your unofficial homework. Oh no. No, you're there. Shoot. No, I'm confused. I'm so sorry. Lost my mind. I'm looking at this iPad thinking I have disconnected because it is not showing on my iPad, but you are in fact right there and everyone is still connected and can speak. Shoulder flow. Let's do it. I'm going to grab my ball.
I don't know what happened, but that was very good.
Well, I thought I disconnected the call because I was looking at my iPad. But it wasn't the iPad. I have two. I have one that I'm on the chat with and one that I'm using to film. Questions on anatomy can come up in the future too. Can always tie the shoulder back in no matter what we're doing because it's always one.
Yes,
unit.
maybe when we talk about anatomy, the language I was explaining to them when I had been was open or bow and corner, right? So in your column and so maybe explaining
Open,
what's that in anatomy. Yeah.
close.
And why does that go in the gait cycle? Maybe you already explained it and I didn't hear that, but
I love it. JP's got an advanced placement question. You're going to tie it all in, and we'll do it. Why not? Can you see the screen, or you just see my forehead? Share screen. Start broadcast. Wow. You guys see Skeleman? Man?
Yes.
All right. Shoulder when it opens. So this is a position that they call anatomical position. Thumb out, palm forward, right? We've got a wrist, two bones, makes up the elbow. A lot of people get their elbow aggravated on the medial side, on the inside. The ulnar nerve, okay? That guy gets pinched a lot of times, in my opinion, up here. Because, oh dear, sorry, I'm making y'all dizzy. Keep your eye on that nerve. I'm going to highlight the bone next to it, right? Got the ulnar nerve. There's the bone. That is the clavicle that can get crunched down. And all that. Ulnar nerve, it's on the inside. So everybody reach down, trace yourself from your pinky finger. Put your left hand on your right pinky finger. Pinch the pinky finger with your index and your thumb and trace that up along the forearm. You will feel all of this musculature that is into the hand, right? All of these on the outside is for grasp, right? There's some extension in there. These ones extend, but they're primarily on the outside of that hand. Anything on the inside, the edge of that elbow. All right, strong side of the hand, we're tracing it up into triceps. Everybody knows the triceps, right? Back of the arm, biceps, triceps. And then right into here. So all these would open the shoulder, because when this pulls, when that lat pulls, when this pulls, opening that hand. Name one activity that requires the hand to be open. First one gets 10 points.
All the ones that go forward.
More specific.
Volleyball.
Tennis.
Volleyball. Okay. Like the overhead spike
Yeah.
in volleyball. Good work. Is where the spine comes into play, right? When that arm opens, it's not just in this area, it's really underneath that as well. So a lot of these shoulder routines, this all has to engage to open. And then the chest is going to turn towards the side that opens. Opens. All right. And all of that, if you just get in that position, if you stand up straight and you turn to your right and you reach the hand up and back with that hand up in the air. And then what happens after you open it? You close it and bring it across the middle of the body. Hand goes all the way across over to the left side and down towards the left hip. And you will feel what that closed shoulder looks like at the fullest closure. Boom. That's the moment in time that all these tissues get really stressed. There's a ligament in here. The ulnar collateral ligament of the elbow. Everybody heard of that? The UCL? It is like the ACL, in which that it is a weak link in a chain. And when a baseball player tears their UCL, they are done throwing the ball until they go through the rehab and have that repaired. There are high school baseball players that are getting this repaired proactively, having a surgery before it's injured so it can be replaced, because the part that they put in there is more durable than this, which is very likely to tear. That tears because there's an imbalance up that chain in that musculature. This, imagine the shoulder opening. I wish I could move my skeleton and move the hand where you could see it in real time. I can show you. I want everybody to mimic that. Okay. What else does that look like? Bigfoot. Who's seen Bigfoot? 10 points. You just let those arms sway. Let them flow. You're going to see that hand goes back. Hand goes back on the throw. And then from the top, it closes. See the bow shape that extends from the shoulder out to the hand? And then you see how that chest and that head is headed into this left side. There's a straight foot. That back side, the top of the foot's down. The knees hovering off the ground. This front elbow and hand, palm towards the body. The other one, palm away. So when you have more of a conscious thought of that elbow and that hand and try to match these shapes, that's like a release shape. The energy is now gone out of that hand behind that kid. It is loading in that shape. That's the release. That's the load. And it just syncs up. That's the release. Kind of visualize what that shoulder's doing deep in that socket. You see the bicep pointing straight down, tricep pointing up and away. So when you're doing your crawling work, be more conscious of that hand, the wrist, the elbow. I'm going to have to film more on this for you guys. I do have a gap with the elbow. Some anatomy. What's that? Oh, look at that. Arm tracing. Boom. Pitching. I used to have this book. It was all in stop motion. So instead of a video, you get to see each little image. But pitching is one of the best things to study if you really want to see how the shoulder completely brachiates or comes away from the rest of the structure, because it floats, right? One little bony prominence. Shoulder rests on the outside, wrist, forearm. All these tissues deep in this forearm. You just got to do wrist gyroscopes, open and close the hand, pinch the fingers, do some of that. I'll guide y'all through that. See me? Or you still
Yes.
see my screen? You do? Sweet. Perfect. So, hand, okay? You see that? We're going to close our fingers together. And then these joints right here, we're going to make a flat top with the hand. From there, flat fist, say. So these knuckles aren't bent yet. And then a full fist. And then I'm going to open up these knuckles and keep these knuckles how they are into a hook fist. And from there, we're going to go fingers tall and spread the fingers. So looking at it this way, boom, close, rooftop, flat fist, trace up, full fist, trace up, hook fist, extend, open. Now, work that ankle, work the wrist, which behaves much like the foot, much like the ankle. Boom, landing on the outside. You're going to punch, hitting here, boom. If you're going to grab somebody, jiu-jitsu, you're grabbing here, right? You're not pinching people unless you are. Boom, pinching with the skill side of the hand, picking up pencils, strong side of the hand, skill side of the hand. Know that they're two separate sides of the hand. While it's one hand, they do have two different functions. And then look at it from elbow to wrist. Boom, boom, boom. That's all these muscles that have pulley systems to here. And then you've got here, 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 pulley systems through here. Okay. You got thumb, opposition. If you've been doing these along with me, your hand should be on fire. You should feel all of this tissue back here probably lit up, because the majority of the work that we do in our world is here. Closed, curl. Jiu-jitsu, it's grappling. You're pulling somebody close to you. You're trying to control them. And then you've got somebody trying to control your arm. If they get it, you've got to be able to get it back. So there's not a lot of this work. It's not really advantageous to you as a martial artist to give yourself away. So you develop these tight restrictions. Same thing with a lifter, or like CrossFit doesn't. Do you guys carry a weighted ball? That's just primarily strongmen, right?
No, yeah, we do it.
Carry a ball, throw
Yeah.
it. up,
When we
boom,
like
right? You're
more more like a grunt work kind of.
just picking it up, carrying it, right?
Yeah.
So you're here. So you don't need to retrain this. That's perfectly trained in that behavior. You want to open things up. From a locomotive standpoint, ties everything back into what JP was asking. The head, the chest, the shoulders, everything syncs up when we move throughout these columns, left column to right column, the left column to right column, like you do in the crawling series. We're opening things up. That arm opens, closes, column to column. Boom. So practice that. Put a squeezy ball in the hand. Do it throughout different areas. Looking up and away. We will work into the neck next week. Well, in the next 3 weeks, we're working lumbar, thoracic, neck. That brachiates down. You're going to get more insight into, okay, I can see where a neck issue radiates pain down in the elbow. So it's not really an elbow problem as much as a shoulder, upper spine issue. What I want you to take away from the hand, the wrist is open is what none of us really do in our daily life anymore. Everybody's always closed. The close is the elbow away, boom, okay? And then that becomes this that you saw in that picture. So just work in that zone, palm up, thumb out, down, hand on your pistol, right? 2, palm up, thumb in. But I'm taking the hand away from the body. I'm taking the hand away from the body and back in, hand outside the elbow, hand outside the elbow, hand outside the elbow, hand outside the elbow. You're going to get that full rotary behavior in the shoulder, the hand, the wrist, and see the correlation between the wrist and the shoulder and how that protects your elbow, because it's along for the ride. Very similar to the knee. If you're putting the hand on the ground, put both fists on the ground, that's going to be easier
Yes.
than this for stabilizing your body.
One more question, maybe. How I feel like some days when I'm tired and I feel more compressed, and I do the rockers, I see my reflection. My scaps are like almost like you could see them, like scapula. So, what's the feeling you want to feel to counteract and really be having like yeah
big open and then towel drill pull aparts at the top, JP, because it's going to get that scapula to close down into the spine. A lot of people have a tendency of this, and that scapula is going to wing out, compress, be tight. So you're trying to get it to glide back on that rib cage, looking, and then can even work. This is where the thoracic spine underneath, you pack it all in and then you move it, right? These reaches from here, working the forearm decompression up at the top, working the forearm decompression down at the bottom. You're going to feel way more scap load here because this is the release side. You see me? That release side, pack side. So packing it and releasing it around the spine, around the radius of the spine, down and around, tighten, tighten. You could put a band or a towel. Don't do this yet, but I'm going to show it to you from here. Boom. And I'm isometrically pulling this towel apart. And I'm going to get my scap to really close down onto that rib cage if you need it to close. Now, if it needs to open, 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 right? You can pull on a band, put a band, tighten it down this way, and open up away from it. Do nerve glides, thumb out, nerve glides, thumb down and in, and work when I hear scap pain, I still think referred pain. Unless you've got a tear in there from prior injury, but you would know because you wouldn't be able to get the full behavior of the shoulder if something's torn. It would get sticky here and not really lift all the way. That's how they know if there's a tear in the rotator cuff, is if
I have
flat
remember
out
the
doesn't
separated
work.
shoulder IT? No, what? No,
Boom.
fuck.
Yep.
No, I forgot the name.
Use
The
the AC joint,
from AC joint from the
here. So the AC joint is, can you see my screen?
yes, if you click on your screen.
See the Skeleman?
Yeah.
So you've got this guy, the subscap. And then you've got the teres major, short little muscles on the bottom and side. There's one's directly to the bottom and one is deep and underneath. This one, how would you stretch that one in your mind? How would you tighten it and how would you lengthen it?
The exercises
off-
we are doing
based-
right now, the one that put our shoulders
based-
together, our elbows together, and then wide open, maybe.
Yes. Good, right? Because you know it, you can now see what's happening with that bone, which is going to have an effect on these two. The more, let me pull you back up so you can see me. The more of this, elbows up, versus this, you're going to hit those two. This is where all this becomes really freestyle work in the shoulder. Open, close, open, close. JP, do you see that?
I feel that.
Is that what you're after?
It feels so much relief. I mean, I'm actually feeling it when it's open and closing. Yeah, and I see the other dimension I wasn't feeling. Yeah.
So now that you see that, what happens if you take the hands away? Can you get the same behavior? Which is these and those. These, boom. This release, right? Boom, 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 boom. And then those, boom, 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 boom. And you're going to feel that get the entire rotator cuff, depending on where your hand and your elbow is. Right here, you're going to get more that deeper inner pulling this humeral head in, which is going to be
no. And I'm on the rocker position, and I'm in the rocker position. I've been doing it, and it feels even connected to my hamstrings, to my inner thighs. Even my thoracic spine feels it.
See this one? Everybody's always after the psoas. That's going to connect. See the little lines in these muscles? These fine lines? They will give you hints into what they're related to because of the direction those lines go. Shoot, that thing's hide. 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 Oh. Yes. There. Eight others. These little striations right there. connect to that shoulder across, in my mind. So if you wanted to take your left shoulder and get it closer to your right hip, what direction would you go? Forward or backwards?
Forward.
Could be both. Okay.
Maybe I didn't understand the question. Sorry.
It was trick. It was a trick question because you can get it closer forward and back. You can get it forward in the front. It's going to stretch. Oh yeah, here, you guys can't see me. You're going to get it from the psoas deep here. You feel it from here to here. And then
Yes, I
deep in the
injured
shoulder.
my right
I can
psoas
get it
too.
here,
I injured my right psoas
there.
too.
or right there. You're going to get it both ways. That's that locomotive standpoint you're asking about, though. Getting it here, head, shoulder, foot forward if I'm going to finish a throw or a tennis serve. Wow. I want these two things to be synchronized. So I don't want to confuse you guys. I feel like I'm...
Maybe it's getting too technical, but it's gold for me. Sorry.
It's a good question. I don't want to...
Okay, maybe explain to
I don't
them.
want anybody...
I think
I don't want anybody to be discouraged at this point because we haven't hit the lumbar spine or the pelvis yet. So when you start to see these tissues, what I just showed you, that the striations align with everything, that shoulder is related closely to that hip, and I can lock that shoulder in up here and just work this hip and actually have an effect on that shoulder without moving it because I'm moving a different part of the body. And it's going to coincide. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's where, like, if
Can
you wanted to do the
I don't know if
drills,
everybody
you
else
come
can.
here. JP,
Yes.
you've seen my slant board series, right? Banded work in a deep squat is a whole different ball game than banded work in standing because you've got all this length to compensate here. But if I put you down in a deep squat,
Yeah.
well, you're gonna feel where you don't get to cheat anymore.
Yeah. Can they okay, I know we're gonna get to all that, and I hope this
Everybody's got
was...
the boards.
Yes. We have an 8 boards, and I can take the biggest flat one that you make, so they can use it. Yeah.
Yep. Jan, you're unmuted. Sorry. I just saw
Thank
that.
you.
Saw your message. Questions?
What? I mean, for the top of the shoulder, what are the things? I having a lot of people that is suffering from, that part. I feel like a pinch in here. I can put weight here. I always feel pain in this part. And I think that I relate that with the way they sleep. So how can I work with them so they can
compress here?
Yes.
Decompress the shoulder. They're up here. Everybody's up here. That's your pinch. You get pinched right here. You got to open that thing up. Underhand gyros with a squeezer, and then traction. Pull on a rubber band. Pull on a rubber band. Pull on a rubber band. And this where the elbow comes.
With the elbow in the
this
back,
spot.
right? With the elbow
in the back.
Yes.
Because you want this to open up within reason. Now if they've got an active pinch, a decompression breath is going to allow that to set, and then just laying them on their back where they're almost in this position.
I guess it's also a posture thing because when you're standing and you slouch your shoulders, you bring that upper part of.
This is really a neck problem.
Oh.
Posture, spine and neck, if it's in this spot. All this connects right here. The shoulder is really, remember, it floats on top of all this. So if this is getting pinched, it's because it's bang, like you said, you're sleeping like this. Well, that's really compressing here. If you look at where the brain splits out, all those nerves go right through here. It's called the brachial plexus. And like if you were to karate chop somebody there, they're going to do what? And that's basically what that person has done, is they've over time pressed and pressed and pressed and pressed and compressed this thing. Then you take that person with knowing that, and then you try to load it here, you're going to make that problem worse. So open, apart. What's the stretch first thing in the morning? Right? Underhands for that person. And then head away. Spine series is going to be big for those people. Shoulder's a complex thing. It closely relates to the spine, the head, the neck, the shoulders. It's all one unit. What I want you to get away from this first shoulder series is that here are the 8 exercises that you're going to see. I don't know if it's 8, that you're going to see over and over and over again through this process, that you're going to perfect. Because if you get somebody that's really doing them consistently, they're going to notice a difference in symptoms there. Manual work in that area is helpful, right? Giving them 2-3 fingers and just massage that area, and then let them feel self-massage. Take your left hand, put it on your right collarbone, and then walk it across. There's a hollow spot like a lake, and then you're going to be on top, and then kind of self-massage. Now feel what happens when you roll it back, self-massage, and then look away from it. And then do a underhand gyro or an elbow pack, and keep your fingers in that area. Find that musculature where they're like, oh yeah, no, that's the spot. And just apply a little pressure, because they need to be able to feel where that zone is, and then tell them, hey, I want you to engage that area when you do this. Or you're going to have them engage something that's opposite and adjacent. Opposite and adjacent means not this side, but up and under on this side. This is what you go after to provide relief in this zone. So don't get caught up in, hey, this zone hurts, we need to work it out, when it's really, hey, this zone hurts, it's compressed, we need things from below to open and lengthen that zone. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is that a helpful cue?
Yes.
Try it, right? Like, let your people know, hey, I'm learning this online. I'm gonna put my hands on you. I want you to find that tissue, soft touch. You're not trying to maybe push anything out. You're just, you want them to feel it. 2 pounds of pressure. Yep.
When we say compressed, that means that we are rolled into compression in a way that and when we are decompressed, we want to extend and like take
open,
like separate, like
and then once they're there, they've got to be able to maintain that shape naturally through positions, which at first they'd be like, oh, am I doing it right? And you're like, all right, let's tone the volume back a little bit. They're going to take all that pressure that's in their shoulder, they're going to take it to their head. You'll see it. I'm stuck. Right? Now it's all here. We need this spine to open up. And that's what next week's, it's supine, it's prone. Week 3, I need to do this flow. I've got people coming in here in 10 minutes. Where's my ball? Boom. Shoulder flow. Unless you just want the video version. Are these helpful when I guide everybody through it? Are the video versions helpful? Are you able to hand these videos to people and say, hey, do these? That's what it is. You teach it to them in person and you give them these videos. I want you to do this. The people with this issue, hey, here's a 3-week shoulder series. Let me know if it helps. You guide them through it. You can do all 3 in the same day if you wanted to and mix it up. But I'm confident that you're going to get them progressing and trending towards the right direction, really no matter the shoulder injury with this approach. I haven't done any of the banded work in here because I don't want things loaded until you guys understand the rest of the base. But it's going to happen. First one, Rollouts, best bang for your buck. What do? We're going to lean into it. We're going to decompress. I'm going to push through the ball. I'm going to get up. I'm going to move that ball out. Thumbs. And just move that ball back and forth. A lot of variations. You can go hip centric. Okay, my hips are driving everything right now. Or I can lock the hips in and go shoulder centric. Both are rollouts. Go out to the side. Open, open. Get really good at controlling this ball and a good base of support. Boom. Everybody see that? Roll out. Open, open, open.
Are we putting pressure on the ball in that position?
Absolutely. Pound or two, not much. The more you push, the more it's going to engage the base. The more it's going to improve this one for people. A lot of people in the gorilla lift from week 1, they can get right here. They can't get up all the way. So this work, when I push down into the ball, I'm going to feel that, and it's going to give me that back. Light pressure or heavy pressure.
Can I see how your feet? Can you turn around? Okay.
Same thing.
So,
Same thing.
I think I was pulling my.
Tucking the toes.
No. Like I was opening my feet too much. Like the fingers together, but the upper part, no, just open.
What I want y'all to know, and these is just columns. Foot placement, knees, hips, everything in a neutral line. When we get into hips and pelvis, I'll be introducing some wider work, some drop back work, some full turn work. But right now for y'all, base. Base can be there. Base can be here. Base can be here. You can roll this ball up and down a wall. If you can't tolerate Henry, you don't want to be on your knees. So when you do rollouts, put this ball on the wall, roll up and down.
I can be on my knees without putting the pressure. That's fine.
Close chain rockers, straight feet, elbows together. Serratus, right? Boom. Crawling with knees up, curl the toes under, knees up. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Boom. That's the one you want to master. That's the crawling phase. That's going to download good habit information. You got to keep those hands in. You have a tendency of getting too wide. Keep everything in. Keep everything tight. Kneeling reaches. Boom. So hand over into the column, elbow down into the pocket, and switch, and switch, and switch. Eyes stay level when you're doing this one. You have people that dump the water out of their ears. Boom. Keep everything tight. When I do these, turn the chest, elbow in the pocket, sit, reach, look up, decompress the forearm in that position. That forearm decompression video is exactly that. Boom, boom. Integrate something with the hand to get the elbow at length. Create length and then work the hand. And then pack it and work the hand. Elbow packs. Elbow packs with a squat. Elbow pack static all the way in. Work towards it. 2-second hold, 2-second hold, 2-second hold, 2-second hold, 2-second hold, 2-second hold. Underhand gyroscope. So when you pack back with the elbows, you want to maintain that pack when you go out here. Packing the elbows, maintain that pack, head out there. Change the angle of your hips. With a squat, you're going to get more of the low back involved. You're going to get pressures pulling down out of the shoulders. Because at the end of the day, all our pressure's up here all the time, and we need these shoulders to relax and flow. Henry, you know who Conor McGregor is if you're a mixed martial artist. That dude walks out like Ric Flair did, another
I know who he
greats.
is.
Boom, right? For the right reasons or the wrong reasons. But if you watch him, watch his walk. Those shoulders are that's his way of keeping things loose. So he can throw the left hand. It's just fluid. It's not his punch. Nobody's punch is just gorilla power. It's fluidity. And being able to go, shoot, I missed. Let me follow it up with another angle and then also protect my noggin. Boxing is an amazing sport to watch and see the shoulder release and lock and load and release. Watch film. Look at this shoulder in different movements. Look at it in tennis. I think tennis and baseball is one of the most complex because you've got a stick, you've got something in the hand, and a little change in the wrist. Just a little opening or closing of the wrist is going to be a different muscle chain. Pow. If I'm going to hit something with a spatula.
Golf
pow.
too. Yeah.
Golf.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, somebody's got screwy hands trying to hit a golf ball. It's not going to be consistent. What do they need? Strong hands, grip work, ankle, just like the ankle gyroscope. Well, we haven't gotten to that. Wrist gyros, hand work, tendon glides in the hand, underhand, and then shoulder tracing. Boom, 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 all the way out. All these zones are free to play in. At an angle, play in that zone. Level out the eyes. Like you're shooting a bow and arrow, shoot it straight up. Now you know, hey, I can add an elastic band. Bomb, bomb. Or I can have something attached to something above me and pull that thing down. And then on the way up, I'm not just letting it go. I'm slowly controlling that elastic band on the way up. And then I'm going to pull it down. And I'm going to slowly control it on the way up. And when you slowly control it and you've got elastic attached, the muscles engage when you pull on that resistance band. When I'm just doing this, the muscles don't necessarily engage because I haven't added anything grip-wise. This is just open chain prep work. When we get into using strength training, you have to have an understanding of that spine, hips, pelvis before I ever load any of these patterns. That being said, basic resistance band work, I will drop in a shoulder gyroscope. I'll show you the 3 ways I just use a band. Palms down, palms apart, thumbs apart. Palms down, palms apart, thumbs apart. Those are your 3 resistance band. And then, okay, can I hold it and go all the way up, over and back? Can I play in an area where I need to? Can I lay on a Bosu ball on my chest and do this work? 2-pound dumbbells, I's, T's, Y's, and W's, right? Those are your 4 traditional PT prone exercises. I want you to be able to flow in and out of all of them. Questions?
I guess jump ropes are a good exercise for gyroscopes too, huh?
They really are. There's so much. That's such a great question. I wish I had a rope. I'd show you. I'll film. Actually, whoo. Check the chat. That is.
I have a rope like that here, so I'm gonna take it to Ere so everybody can play.
I've got a pile of them, and I will film that. Needs. Forearm deco. Managed shoulder.
I'm guessing many people don't get just thinking about the everyday class, functional class. Most people don't get a lot of, double unders and jump ropes because they're tight, from their shoulders. They don't get that gyroscope move very well. So that
Yep.
must be
I am one of them.
just thinking about that.
Add that to a personal goal, right? Like, I want to see an improvement in my jump
Nice.
ropes.
And my
I'm
double
sorry.
unders. I want to get them.
That rope work, we'll tie it in when I get it, especially because it's more pelvis than shoulder to me. It's more spine than shoulder when it comes to swinging that rope. You've got to be able to create that little wave. It's wrist, forearm, train like a boxer. It is the right way.
Yeah, it's actually, you need to stay opening up because you're landing and leaving. So yeah, I see that in tennis, like for example, Nadal, when he hits the ball, his almost in not so much of a volume, but exactly that movement that you did with the shoulders open and closing when you showed me my
Yep.
problem of how to get those muscles. Well, I see that whenever he just like wants to jump like from the ground and he's leading, he's having that like a boing from a rod, like a in and out. I don't know how to explain. And you can only achieve that if you can control your shoulders in that way. Because if not, if you're just compressed, you can't have that propulsion from the thoracic spine. Or from the lumbar, from the sorry.
Agree. You're going to see these in all behaviors. That is what I want you to be able to see is, hey, that's a shoulder centric. That's a little move. I can tie that into an exercise. Oh, you're a baseball player, you're a golfer. Well, this really relates to that. And you're going to be able to serve these people based on their interests, based on their behaviors with anything that I've presented in these last 3 weeks. And it's going to make a difference. Remember that there's shoulder functions, throwing, catching, carrying, lifting, and combat. And that's different than a reach, a grasp, a crawl, and a climb. Locomotive-based functions versus a skill-based function. They look similar, but they are different behaviors. And anything other shoulder functions, throwing, catching, carrying, lifting, and combat, is going to integrate the spine in a much bigger way than the reach, the grasp, the crawl, and the climb, in my opinion. Really, you could throw all those in the same bucket and say they're all everything, but the locomotive-based shoulder functions, I want you to tie into these specific exercises. When it comes to lifting, when it comes to combat, when it comes to catching and throwing, swinging, that is where you're going to have a better understanding of this in the coming weeks. That is the best way I can explain it now so we don't get long-winded, because it immediately puts me in a spine, pelvis, hips paradigm. And I want you to see it piece by piece, which you are. You're asking excellent questions. Tells me we're on the right path because you're looking at.
We've seen a lot, but it's
why.
been like, yeah. I love how you show the Zoas. O sea, it makes total sense. My injury, prior to my injury, prior to hurt. I was always saying I always fall on my left shoulder, but I had before a pubalgia from the right psoas. So so that's why I hurt my left shoulder when I fell, because and then my right lumbar spine. Yeah, it makes sense to me. So this, for me, it makes a lot of sense. So I hope I can also share this with them, because we want to get together once a week and share what we're
learning.
Have learned together. Yeah.
take notes when you guys do that, and let me know when questions come up like we have today, because I can shoot little videos and answer them in the chat. My challenge this week to all of you is be more engaging in the chat for this last week. Type all those questions you have for the shoulder so I can drop videos that relate to it, because a lot of them I think I can answer. I've already filmed it, I've already said it, so in my mind you already know it, but in reality, when you ask me that question, it lets me know, okay, I need to polish that. Otherwise, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I covered that already. So be more engaging. Thank you for the videos. Good work, everybody. It looks clean, looks fantastic. Make a Google Drive, save all of that film, because you're going to want it in the future. It quickly becomes your film that you can offer to clients. If you don't want to use the film that I'm cutting with me in it, you can go, hey, I'm going to film that myself. That way there's a coach-client relationship. But once again, you're more than welcome to share these things. They are by design shareable. I want you to have these tools. Hey, I want you to be able to tell a client, I want you to do this, just like I have to all of you. I've treated all of you like a shoulder client, I hope. For this week, you have a better understanding of the shoulder. Do you know everything about the shoulder? No, that's going to take decades, right? The more you look at it, the more you understand. When it comes to the specific behavior, you're going to want to look at the best in that sport. Who's the best in your respective sport? That is my challenge this week to you. Come up with one or two subjects that you go, hey, this is the person that I'm going to look at this week. And then I can look for film too and look for little clips and start to build this out where everybody picks one person and everybody sees 3 people. So week 3, final exam, pick a person. It doesn't have to be an athlete. A person that is very good at what they do, and watch their shoulder and give me 2 to 3 sentences on it. It doesn't have to be a huge essay. I don't want you to have too much work. That is
musician, anyone,
musician,
right?
Great idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be, I didn't think of that person. That's why it's your assignment. Knock it out. I'll be dropping some videos this week. Next Tuesday, jumping into the spine. That's going to be fun. First, week 1, static spine. Week 2, lateral bend in the spine. Week 3, lumbar, thoracic, cervical, spine, how it correlates. And then JP, you've seen some of the film that I've been cutting as well. So there's a lot of bonus footage coming. We're going to pick up the pace. That's why I'm challenging you to be more engaged this week. Only going to get faster and hopefully more informative and useful. Everybody able to talk? Mute. Boom. Okay. Adios. I'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
I hope we can follow up whenever we can and let you know, and also do the homeworks. Thank you.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Hit the chat. I'll talk to you guys later today. I'll be in here for next couple hours filming some more work for the hips and pelvis.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm just a month ahead of you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Cody.
Cool.
Have a
Absolutely.
good day.
Talk to you soon.